My dad, a 55 male, is a rich, stubborn, but lovable douchebag. Over the last 10 years, me and my 3 siblings have had to go to 5 of his weddings. He also eloped one time, and then we only went to an after-the-fact party. My brothers, let's call them Adam, 32 male, Joe, 28 male, and Dan, 26 male, and me, 25 female, try to think of it as an opportunity to drink free booze, eat well, and have a good time. Well, Dad's last divorce went through about 6 months ago, so we've all been gearing up for the next wedding. Sure enough, it's going to be a New Year's Eve wedding, and all of us but Dan are invited. We had a good laugh about it, and then talked to Dad thinking it was a misunderstanding. But no, he doesn't want Dan to be there because last time he got drunk and called Dad's wife by his previous wife's name. How would you all handle this? Would you go or would you say no because he didn't invite all us kids? All of us siblings are gathered and will read any and all comments. Ask your dad if Dan can go to his next wedding. From now on, only call his wives by previous wives' names and none of you go. Who the heck has a wedding on New Year's Eve? This is your dad's 5th wedding. I think he can strip back the self-importance a bit, given how rapidly he's moving from relationship to relationship. You're all adults at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if you also see his current girlfriend's wife a small handful of times per year. First, try to talk your father down, but I wouldn't push too hard if your brother isn't that invested. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if he's relieved he doesn't have to go. If he's not going, I'd find a reason to pass on going as well and send a nice card gift. There's not much reason to turn this into a huge fight, but a certain amount of sibling solidarity is warranted every now and then. Story 2. My brother is 19. We will call him Ed. He is a complete sweetheart. He works hard, he keeps to himself, and he never has a bad thing to say about anyone. The drama that surrounds his girlfriend in our family is really hard on him. He wants us all to get along, and boy, we have tried, but it's just not working. My brother and his fiancée, who we will call Sam for the sake of anonymity, have been together since they were 13. It has, in my family's eyes, never been a normal relationship. Sam's mother has never worked and she has been with her husband since they were 11. So she has encouraged her daughters from a young age to stay with their first boyfriends forever and get married because it worked out for her. One time when they got into a 13-year-old lover's quarrel, Ed asked my mother if he could go for a drive with Sam's mom. It was 11 p.m. at night on a Tuesday. My mother said, absolutely not. What business does a grown woman have coming to pick up her son on a school night? Ed said it was harmless and that she just wanted to talk to him about their relationship issues. My mom shut that down. That night, Ed stayed up online all night on MSN, back when this was a thing, talking to Sam's mom. My mom read the messages and was pretty disturbed. They outlined about how Ed and Sam had lost their virginity to each other, how special it was, how she could tell Sam was upstairs thinking about it with a winky face emoji. She turned the internet off for a week. Another night, Ed was still 13. Sam's mother shows up at 11:30 and picks my brother up. This time, my brother did not return to the house immediately. She called the police. 10 minutes later, Ed was home and grounded. This began the conflict between my mother and Sam's mother. On to Sam. Sam has had it in her head the entirety of her and Ed's relationship that she is going to be a stay-at-home mom, which is fine, but she has been pressuring Ed to propose since age 13. No joke. Sam's mother began sharing things all over Facebook about how her future son-in-law and Sam would have a big beautiful wedding and how many beautiful grandbabies they would give her. My mom was getting more and more upset as time went on. Every time she confronted Ed on how this was not normal behavior, Ed would become withdrawn. For fear of losing a relationship with Ed, my mom stopped trying to warn him and started trying more to build a relationship with Sam. As it was evident, my brother loved her and they were not going to break up anytime soon. The only thing is, Sam is rude. Sam ignores our family the very few times we see Ed and Sam. They don't come by often because they were always at Sam's mother's house. Sam has no other friends that aren't her sisters or her sister's boyfriends. I used to joke that it was a cult. I don't joke about it anymore. I believe it really is. My mother would try to make conversation and Sam wouldn't even look at her, much less speak back. One time, she just got up from the table and left the house without so much as a goodbye. This kind of standoffish, awkward behavior has gone on for years. My mother told Ed that she feels sad and that she's losing a relationship with him because it's so evident that Sam and her mother want his full attention. But Ed told us that she has anxiety and can we please make an effort to like her. I have never hid my distaste for Sam when it comes to Ed, although I am polite when she is around for the sake of keeping things drama-free for us all. I hate hearing about how unhappy this relationship makes my mother. I hate watching the way Sam straight up ignores her and the rest of us whenever Ed and Sam are here. My mom is honestly a great lady. She works hard and was a single mother to my brother and I basically our whole lives. She gave us everything we wanted and she absolutely adores my boyfriend. She even bought him a flight out of province for a mother-daughter vacation we were going to have. My mother always wanted my brother to find a girl she could consider a daughter, and she has tried. Though she never wanted to with Sam, but Sam doesn't meet her halfway. She doesn't even try. Story 3. At age 19, Sam and Ed became engaged. When I found out, Ed called me and said, "Please, please just be happy for me." It broke my heart. I know this family conflict tears him up. We congratulated him and feigned excitement. At this point, my brother and Sam have graduated from high school. My brother is working a full-time job, paying the rent, utilities, both him and Sam's phone bills, and the car payments. Sam is sitting on a student loan for a nail course she took. She makes about $60 to $120 a week. She doesn't cook. She doesn't clean. I heard her say to Ed that she wasn't coming over to the apartment until Ed had it cleaned up. This girl is a leech. It all came to a head last month when Sam's mother posted on Facebook about a new bike she bought. The town we are from threw a benefit because she is having a surgery in the near future. A lady stirred up some drama on the post, basically tearing Sam's mother apart for spending the benefit money on a new bike. Sam's mother got it in her head that my mother somehow had put her up to this. What? Anyways, Sam's mother began posting about how my mother would be getting her money back, how she ruined her night, etc. This was the breaking point for my mom. She blocked all of them, including Sam, phoned my brother, and basically she said has put forth all the effort she can regarding Sam and her family, but now she is done. My brother is really upset. I don't know what to do. Reddit. Is this one of those situations where we just have to blindly hope against hope that my brother sees the light someday? What kind of advice could anyone possibly have for us? My brother and mother are very hurt. I am not hurt. I am angry. I think I truly, really do hate Sam and her mother with a passion. So I don't think that I should be involved in any kind of conversation with Ed just now, because I can't stomach the fact that they are even still a couple. I guess I just want to comfort my mom. Maybe this was a rant more than anything. Thanks for listening. You are entirely correct to block all of those people on all social media. There's really nothing much to be gained there, and depriving them of that access may tamp down the drama. You, your mother, and anyone else in your circle of friends should lock down your social media. Here's the advice I have for you. Stay in touch with your brother. Call him, try to schedule time to visit or hang out with him, and only him. Maybe the two of you get together once a month and shoot pool, or go to the movies, or eat lunch at the only Korean BBQ place in town. But don't let him get isolated. Make sure he knows he's still got someone he can talk to and hang out with when you do things with him. And make sure it's brother-sister time, no girlfriends allowed, just hang out. Mentally make a list of okay things to talk about. Sports, weather, politics, that thing the dog did last week. And if the conversation lags or goes into uncomfortable territory, you can pull out. Do not bring up his girlfriend or her mother, and do not speak ill of them. If he talks about them, just listen. The most judgmental thing you should say is, "Really? That doesn't sound like normal. I mean, for what I know about how people in whatever situation is described, behave." If your brother tries to bring along his girlfriend, call it out and let it be a little awkward. "Hey Sam, I didn't realize you'd be here. I invited Ed and only Ed because I wanted some time with my brother. I promise I won't let him wander off and get lost. Here, let me pay for an Uber to take you home." Don't give up. Keep inviting Ed out for brother-sister time, making it clear it's just the two of you. Keep sending Sam home if she tries to tag along. And if Ed says, "Look, I can't go out with you unless she's with us," fall back to your one judgmental reply. "That's really not normal for every other couple I've ever known. That seems really unreasonable and unhealthy. Are you okay?" This is an important boundary to establish. Ed needs to know that his family is still around and that he can still talk to them. And Sam needs to know that it's okay for Ed to do things without her being there. This is going to be a long, slow process, but it starts by setting boundaries and giving your brother a safe place to reconnect with his family without having to constantly defend his girlfriend. Story 4. I've, 27 female, been seeing a very lovely man, 33 male, for the last month or so. He's incredibly sweet, very intelligent, and very successful in his career and hobbies. There are some issues in our compatibility I feel I could overlook. We have pretty different senses of humor, and I am pretty active while he is not. But this one issue I just don't think I can overlook. He broke up with his girlfriend almost 2 years ago. At the time, his ex and her grandma were living with him in his home, as grandma did not have anywhere to go and could not afford to live on her own. His ex was having some major mental health issues when they broke up and, understandably, could not take her grandma with her when she moved out. However, grandma is still living there, and from what I understand from him, she is not planning to move out anytime soon, and he does not feel comfortable asking her to move out, as she apparently still has no place to go. Some additional info. Grandma does not pay rent or contribute financially. I think she basically just pays for her own food. They also do not have a great relationship as friends or roommates, and I feel awkward going over to his house because the way they interact is pretty uncomfortable. While he is incredibly kind and compassionate, This issue makes me think he is too passive, has issues setting boundaries, and can't stand up for himself. Surely there is some alternative to letting her live there indefinitely. Another family member is something she can live with, helping her look for government-assisted housing, something other than just supporting her for the rest of her life. I just can't see us living together in a year or two or whatever with his ex-girlfriend's grandma living there. But he doesn't seem inclined to change anything. And I'm certainly in no position at this point to ask that he change anything. Guys, do you think it's better to just end it now? Or should I give it some more time and see where things go? Don't ask me, ask him. You seem very aware of what's going on. He's very sweet and very compassionate, but also a total pushover. As for sitting around to see where it goes, really, his ex-girlfriend's grandmother, who he apparently doesn't like as a person, has been living with him rent-free for 2 years. What makes you think he'll turn 34 and suddenly realize, oh crap, I don't need to continue to let this mean old lady live in my house rent-free? Side note, if you don't share a sense of humor or interest in activities, and you think he's a wuss, what is attractive about him to you? Story 5. I called my mom last night to wish her an early Happy New Year, and while we were on the phone, she told me she has something to tell me. This included a big lead-up about how she didn't think she had been keeping this from me, but I might feel like she had been. She said she didn't tell me sooner because she knows our relationship isn't super strong and didn't want this to affect our relationship or make me not talk to her. Then, she said that she and my dad had bought a cabin. After prodding me a bit more why she thought that would upset me, she admitted that they had bought it with my little sister, we'll call her Haley, and her husband, Brett. They said that my sister Haley had mentioned wanting a cabin, but couldn't afford it quite yet, and so they went in on one together. They never asked my partner and I if we would like to go in on it. They never mentioned they were thinking of getting a cabin. My mom said she asked my dad if we had ever mentioned wanting one, and they decided we hadn't, so it was no big deal to just carry on without us. It wasn't until I asked more questions that I realized the sale of the cabin closed in July, and they had been keeping this from me since then. My mom also let it slip that everyone in the extended family already knew and I was the last to find out. This whole time I had assumed it was a recent purchase, but it has been 5 months. It suddenly clicked that during our Christmas Eve Zoom call, they had been making a lot of inside jokes that I didn't realize were about the cabin. My mom talked about how she had spent the last few months sourcing and refinishing furniture from Facebook Marketplace, and I realized they had this whole secret life of plans and preparations without me the past few months. They only told me because they are all going up there for New Year's. Yes, in a pandemic and to celebrate my nephew's first birthday. There is a long history of my parents helping my sister out financially. She is allowed to live at home rent-free while they pay for her school, versus me paying rent the second I turn 18 and not getting my school paid for buying her a grad gift and throwing her a graduation party versus my dad skipping out on my grad dinner giving her family heirlooms that I had specifically mentioned, wanting without telling me giving her loans and not making her pay them back versus me losing my job and not receiving a penny from them hosting fundraisers for Haley and Brett's charity versus not supporting mine and my partner's nonprofit work. I told my mom I'm really hurt and don't feel like I'm part of the family and don't understand what I've done to be so outside of my family. She said it's just obvious I'm more independent and don't need them. Meanwhile, I have multiple mental illnesses and a chronic pain condition and definitely am not 100% independent. There are lots of family issues at play here. I'm definitely in weekly therapy. Don't worry, my therapist is on vacation until next week and I just don't know what to do. I'm reeling from the hurt I feel. Like I really need to start distancing myself from my family. But is that dramatic? Am I just being jealous because my parents don't give me things? They have said they want me to come out to the cabin when I feel safe to do so. But I can't imagine myself ever feeling comfortable with that. Am I just being jealous because my parents don't give me things? Maybe technically, but you're valid in feeling that way. Jealousy is not a wrong emotion to feel in this situation. As for what to do about it, that's something for you to talk about with your therapist and decide based on what would be best for you. Distancing yourself further or cutting your parents out could be a really healthy decision, or could be a harmful one. It depends on how it's going to make you feel and why you're doing it. I will say if you do it, make sure you're doing it for you. Don't do it because you think it will send them a message or change their minds or make them feel guilty. If you're doing it to make them feel like doing something, you may be even more disappointed. Make sure it's about your feelings, not theirs. Your feelings, not theirs.